Do you have the very best business model possible? Do you? Do you really though? Let's find out. Hey everybody and welcome back to the channel. Appreciate you being here. Thank you so much for giving me your time today whenever you may be watching this. And in today's video, I'm going to be sharing a little bit of a checklist for you to go through if you're already in business, to check that actually your business that you're currently running is the best possible business model, or if you're starting to think about creating a business. Again, this is going to help you think about what you need to consider to make sure you're going into a business with the best possible business model that you can. Because believe me, there's nothing worse than starting a business that down the line you go, this is I don't even want to do this. I'm working more than I would in a normal job and I don't even like doing it, and I'm earning less. So back in 2010, I started my first ever business, and that was a little bit more of what you might call a traditional business, in that it was an entertainment company where we managed tribute acts and bands. And as a result, we auditioned people, we rehearsed them, we bought costumes, we bought speakers, we bought lighting, we bought vans, we had sound engineers that worked with us. We had rehearsal studios and offices. We had a team of staff that take the bookings. We had, I don't even know why I'm saying had. I still have this business, by the way. It still exists. We still have some amazing acts and an amazing team of people, and it's doing really well. But here is the thing. That kind of business model, as I'm alluding to there, has an awful lot of overheads. It relies heavily on people physically turning up and delivering a service, and a lot of traveling, and often vehicles break down or speakers blow, and relying on equipment and all this kind of thing. So what I learned, I mean, I was 19 when I started that business up, and I was just, as I've come to learn, a lot of business owners do, I was just starting a business based on knowing what I know. You know, I've worked with a lot of clients who, for example, I've worked with people in the beauty industry and hairdressers, retail, acting coaches, personal trainers, all these people. Quite often they got into that business because they already was an actor or an acting coach, or they were a hairdresser. And then they thought, well, what would be better is rather than just delivering my service, I could create a business out of this service and I could employ new people, and it just becomes like a natural progression. They weren't necessarily business minded or entrepreneurial or expecting to do a business. It was just an opportunity where they thought, actually, it makes more sense. Rather than just relying on me, I could grow a business. And then as people get down the line, they go, do you know what? This business is just a profitable job. I work all hours, 7 days a week. I have loads of pressure, stress, staff to worry about, and very little profit margins at the end of it. And this is a common story, and this was me. And then back in about 2018 or so, I started thinking, like, this kind of business model is leading me to burnout, because I am just struggling to see how to grow it, how to evolve without more money being invested. It felt like every time we made money, I needed to reinvest money, and it just seemed like this hungry beast of a business that just took so much. And at the end of it, I wasn't getting so much back as a return. So around about 2018, I started to learn more and more about different businesses, and in particular started to really learn about online business models. And this changed the game for me. And subsequently, in the years that followed, I've ended up having memberships, courses, workshops. I do live events every now and then because they're quite fun, but predominantly most of what I do now is online. So this is something for you to think about. Are you creating a profitable job? Are you creating a busyness, as they say? You know, not a business. You're just busy all the time. So it's a busyness. Sorry, anyway, back to business. Here's a checklist that I think you should go through. And if you're starting a business, in my opinion, the best business model will tick these boxes. If you're already in business, maybe you want to look at how can you adapt, evolve, and pivot to make sure, if it doesn't already, that you can start to tick these boxes. Number one, low startup costs. The best business model, in my opinion, wouldn't require you putting thousands of pounds of your own money, or potentially having to get an investor or a loan or so on, where you need tens of thousands of pounds to get started. Again, I speak about this in a lot of my content. Those traditional businesses, that's what you needed to do a lot of the time to get started. Times have drastically changed. You don't have to do that with so many online businesses. So make sure that you're starting a business with low startup costs, because it is possible. Second thing on the list of the best business model is one that doesn't take all your time and energy all the time. Now, let me be clear. I don't know of anybody who's really set up a genuinely profitable, successful, sustainable business that didn't put in some blooming hard work and put in loads of time, loads of effort, blood, sweat, tears, and everything else to some degree for some of the time. But you want to ask, does this business model that I have actually have the possibility and the progression to evolve so that in time, following the steps, and if we're getting the customers, the consumers, and we're growing, it doesn't rely heavily on me having to do everything all the time. And actually, we can make good money, good profits. I don't have to put that much time or energy into the business, if any. Number 3, minimal overheads and staff. Ideally, if you can run a business that doesn't need any premises, offices, ideally, if you don't need staff that need to work in person and need somewhere to work, maybe you can have outsourcers, maybe you can have people working remotely and stuff like that. But generally, you don't want to have to rely on having a big team of staff that all need big offices, because again, that's a lot of pressure, a lot of work, a lot of stress, a lot of people's wages to pay. Number 4, have no stock. Ideally, I personally think one of the best business models in today's day and age would not require physical products that you need to package or deliver or have courier services or have storage space. A lot of people have been really successful with things like drop shipping, Amazon FBA. So let me be clear again, I'm not saying these businesses can't work well for some people some of the time. But what I am saying is, generally speaking, best business model, in my opinion, wouldn't be doing any of that. The next one, the best business model would be one that has maximum profit margin. Now, I know this might sound obvious, but there are so many businesses, when you just do the math and you look at it logistically, after you've spent all your expenses and given your time and energy and so on, you got like £3 left at the end of the week. Bit of an obvious one, but really think about that. Does it have the ability to have minimal overheads, as we've covered, but maximum profit for what you do? Next on the checklist is it should be a business that has the ability to create passive and recurring income. What's passive and recurring income, he says? Well, let me tell you, he says. So passive income is where there is no longer any active input. I'll give you an example. Let's say I create a free webinar, which I'm doing, by the way. Come to the free webinar. Let's say it's absolutely blooming amazing, gives loads and loads of value. At the end of it, if you want to continue to work with me after the free webinar ends, there is an amazing program, step by step. It's an online course, 10 modules, and it gives you everything you need to be able to get the result you want to get. There's a free webinar. I film it, it's done. At the end, I film the sales pitch that takes you to a paid course that, again, is all pre-recorded, ready to go. Then I create some ads that I run on Meta, Facebook, Instagram, those kind of ads. Maybe Google ads, maybe YouTube ads, maybe TikTok ads. And through testing and trialing different types of ads on different platforms, we find that perfect winning formula for the ads that we know at a good cost per lead take people from the ad to the free webinar, and then a percent of that converts into buying the pre-recorded program. What we've created then is a system where every single month ads are running that I'm paying for. They're taking them through a process that leads to a percent of sales that more than covers the ads and actually makes a profit month after month after month. That is passive income. Once the initial stuff is set up, tried, tested, and working, need to do nothing, but sales will keep coming in week after week, month after month, and I don't have to teach anything, I don't have to create anything, I don't have to speak to anybody if I don't want to. It is just bringing me money while I go and sip margaritas on a beach. That's what you're supposed to say if you're a successful business guru or something. Anyway, you get my point. That's passive income. Recurring income, on the other hand, is where it's regular income, perhaps from the same people month after month. So it might be something like a subscription or a membership where they pay daily, weekly, monthly. And for that, I still might actively do something. So my Success School membership, for example, once a week for 90 minutes a week, I give coaching, and I also run a WhatsApp group. And that's it. And for that, people pay £19 per month. There is also pre-recorded stuff and loads of content in there, an amazing community and so on. But actually, my active input is still live. I still do a Zoom every week, and I still run the WhatsApp group every week. And with that, people pay month after month after month after month, consistently recurring income. Got it? Makes sense? Good. The next thing on your checklist is it wants to be scalable and sellable. In other words, very simply, something that can grow and grow. And also, this is a really important one, because a lot of people, when they're starting out with a business again, they don't consider that it wants to be a business they need to sell. Now, you might not ever want to sell it, but If it's a business that would be of interest to investors that they would want to buy, that would suggest you've created a fantastic business. So you should always think with the end in mind. You should always be thinking about creating a business that could be sold for a fantastic profit. Again, a lot of people build something where they're delivering the service, they're doing everything, they are the business. And therefore, if you wanted to sell it, what have you got to sell? You. You're going to sell yourself. Basically, you're the asset. So if I'm an investor looking to buy, I would want to buy you to keep working. Well, that's not a good business model if it's only successful by relying on you working hard. So think about it in those terms. Is your business something that in time, eventually, would be solid, would be something that is profitable, minimal overheads, minimal stress, minimal effort, and could continue to be scaled and grow and make good profit over time? So that's your checklist. How did you score? Have you got a good business model? Do you need to go back to the drawing board and think again? For me, one of the best business models for most people to start would be in the online education space, teaching what you already know, giving people your valuable experience, skills, strategy on a specific subject that you can teach via memberships, courses, one-to-one sessions, online workshops and webinars. And then over time, you can grow that as a business, as a community where bit by bit, you do less of the teaching, other people can come in and you build something substantial that in time doesn't require you to keep on working your ass off, but still makes you great money month after month and could be sold for a profit if you wanted to. I've heard Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi speak about the e-learning industry is valued at around about $1 billion a day. $1 billion, not million, not tens of millions, $1 billion a day. So there really is opportunity here if you can get great at teaching, if you can get great at working online and building a substantial business, utilizing things like social media, the internet. There's so much opportunity, guys. If you want help, drop me a message. If you haven't already, make sure you join my free online webinar that we're doing over on Zoom. All the details below, just click that link because I'll be going through this step by step. What do you think? Was that useful? Is your business ticking those boxes like you want them to be? Let me know in the comments. I want to engage with you. Actually, you, yes, you, I'm speaking to you. I want to know more about what you think of this content. If it's helped you, if it's useful, if you've had any realizations, let me know. Let's get the talk going. Let's get the conversation going. It's important to talk. Speak to me and I'll speak back. Watch, I'll do it. Give me a minute. I'll reply.